Boom! All right, ladies and gentlemen, today we got a surviving life experience trained type individual who became a tech engineer, a tech entrepreneur with a mission to make travel safer and more convenient for parents and children. So let's get this show on the road. Here we go.
Shut up and sit down.
Look, a business can give you everything you want in life: prestige, wealth, freedom. It can also take everything away from you. This show is for those who are willing to take that risk. These are the real life stories of entrepreneurs. But before we start, I have one small favor to ask. Please leave a comment. It can be advice, critiques, tips, feedback, or share this with someone because your engagement is the most valuable and most powerful form of social currency. So thank you, and welcome to another episode of Business Bros. All right, ladies and gentlemen, today we have an extraordinary guest with us with a story that'll leave you in awe. A true survivor and entrepreneur is joining us to share his incredible journey. His life took an unimaginable turn when at age 13, he survived being hit by a moving train in New York City, an event that permanently changed his life. But he didn't let adversity hold him back. He's been a model, a cab driver, a real estate developer, and more, all while nurturing his entrepreneurial spirit. So let's welcome to the show, Mr. Nelson Nigel. All right, Nelson, here we go, man. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. Let's do it.
Let's do it, dude. All right, man. First question I always ask is, everybody who comes on the show is here to promote something, to talk about what it is they do so they can get more clients, more customers, that sort of thing. So what is that for you? What is it that you do for a living?
Currently, I'm the founder of Motor Nation, Kid Motor Technologies. We provide a specialty transportation for for niche areas of transportation.
All right, so let me ask you, who is the target audience that you're going after? Like, if we could talk to that specific person that is a perfect fit for Kid Moto, what is that?
Kid Moto is a mobile app connecting traveling parents with small children to drivers that provide pre-installed child car seats. So essentially, it's traveling parents with small children that need pre-installed child car seats for airport transportation.
So you care a lot about the little guy, right? And I'm talking about the younger
child
ones.
safety.
Child safety. We want to make sure that they get from point A to point B in the safest way possible. We don't want them traveling, sitting on somebody's lap like like it was back in the 1900s. I say that because back when I was a kid, that's how we rolled, dude. There was no seatbelts and stuff, but we just kind of jumped in the car and went. Today we know better, and we want to make it safe, especially when we're hopping in vehicles that aren't even ours. We're literally hiring other vehicles to get from point A to point B. Tell me a little bit about your background, man. Why'd you get into this space? Why is this such a pain point in your heart?
I'm just a lifelong entrepreneur, and I saw an opportunity in the market, and I just fell into it because some other opportunity failed, and I saw this, and I said, you know what, I'm going to do that. And next, forget about it. It's here.
All right, walk me through this story, man. How did you even get there? Like, what did you do? Like, you saw this opportunity. Give me some details, man. What's it been like? Where are you at today?
I was a yellow cab. I was a yellow cab driver in New York City. Greatest job ever, honey. Oh, forget about it. And I drove over, and I was involved in public procurement, selling goods and services to the government agencies. And I just happened to lose a few contracts. And at the same time, I was driving part-time, and I saw an opportunity in the transportation industry and I said, you know what? Well, Uber doesn't do this. Lyft doesn't do this. All other companies don't do this. And I should focus on that. And it was a crazy idea. It still is a crazy idea, but it's real, it's live, and we're operating in 52 cities.
So what's it been like so far? I mean, launching an app is not the easiest thing in the world. Getting people to know what it is, how to use it, to download it and get involved, it could take a lot of work and effort. What's it been like for you?
It's tremendously hard. Extremely hard. It's seemingly it's. I'm looking back and it's like, you know what? I don't have the energy to do what I did before. We're talking about working 20 hours a day, almost every day for years, or 18 to 20 hours a day. That's kind of like how it was.
Let me, dude. I was looking at pictures of you, and I mean, I can see you right now. You're wearing a nice suit, got a nice tie. That's not normally what I would picture a cab driver going into. What made like walk me through that switch? You decide, okay, look, here's an opportunity. Obviously, there is a problem here. Parents are traveling with younger kids. I mean, I've traveled in Ubers and Lyft with my kids, but by the time I traveled with them, they were a little bit older. They can just come in and buckle up. But I'm sure there are parents out there, especially with the car prices, especially with gas prices, getting in and buying a vehicle is not always the easiest thing, but they still got to get it from point A to point B. So you saw the opportunity and you decided to make this shift. How do you just jump from one thing to the next? So, I mean, walk me through that story.
So I saw a need for traveling parents that need to go to and from the airports. That's all we do. And parents tend to think of the children last. And the last minute they say, well, how do we get to the airport? Especially because traveling with car seats is cumbersome, and they're heavy and they're hard to install. So I said, well, we can create a mobile app, kid mobile app, and parents will use our app to travel to and from airports all over the country.
So now
And we started out.
Yeah, now we're getting somewhere, right? Okay, so specifically, we're talking about to and from an airport. At least this is where we're starting. And I think it's kind of important. I've talked to a lot of entrepreneurs and they have great ideas, but they don't really get really specific on who they're talking to. And as a result, we can have some problems growing there. That's a very specific situation. I like that because I don't want to have to deal with carrying a car seat. I've seen that at the airport. They have to carry them all the way in. They get like a special bag and wrap that gets thrown into the plane. And then they got to think about how they're going to get it out with all their checked baggage. It's not the easiest thing in the world. If I had an app that I could use to get me from the airport to my house, from the house to the airport, that would definitely help. What two cities are you in? What are the big problems that you are experiencing at the moment trying to grow this thing?
So we're currently in 52 cities across America, except we're in all major cities except Washington, D.C. But we can solve your problem. We can get you in Bozeman. We can get you in Salt Lake, Sacramento, Port of Miami, Port of Galveston. We'll get you there. And we'll take you there if you're going on the cruise, if you're going to and from the airport to the hotels, and that's what we do.
So
the problems, sorry.
Yeah, go for it. Problems.
Problems is always we have a lot of problems.
Hey man, at least you're honest, dude, because that's the truth of the matter, right? This is what I like about talking to entrepreneurs, especially startup entrepreneurs at the beginning of their journey. That's what entrepreneurship is. It's nothing but a series of problems that the entrepreneur has to solve. And once you solve them, once you systematize that problem, then it doesn't become an issue anymore. And then you work on efficiency. But the problems never really go away. What kind of problems are you looking at right now?
It's human communication.
Like what? Give me an example.
Internal team and communication within our teams. Many people are working virtually, and when you're working virtually, just communication is just so limited, and it's hard to keep people engaged and to keep them communicating. And once they're losing focus, and we're at times where people need to share information, and we all need to share information, and if someone is not communicating, and so we're not functioning efficiently.
It's tough, man. It is tough. I don't think people always realize some of the hiccups that you have as an entrepreneur, I know management of people, right? Managing people is a task in and of itself. And even though as an entrepreneur, you might have a skill set that you're really good at, like I always like to use like plumbers, for example. A plumber might be good at cleaning the pipes, might be good at, setting up a whole house, maybe, finding leaks, doing all that stuff, might be good at the technical aspect of the job, but doesn't really realize that when they go off on their own, they also got to learn how to market. They also got to learn how to manage their books. They also got to, as they grow, they got to manage people and other plumbers and admin staff. And like, it is a lot of work to take your business from, you doing everything yourself to really trying to scale this thing. How long have you guys, how long ago did you launch?
6 going on 7 years. It's great. But it's always, internal communication problems is always an issue. You just can't sit in the side or in the corner thinking that, things will get done without you, and you will only do your one specific job requirements, because those days are over.
Oh, 100%, dude. 6 or 7 years already in this business. What are some of those big lessons that you feel that have kind of shaped the way you're going to move forward in business, maybe going forward? Big, maybe big losses or big wins even, but lessons that you learned so far.
I'll give you a big one. It's pretty funny because it's one that's very common. It's imposter syndrome. Right? Sometimes we go into a new business, a new industry, thinking that, hey, you know what? I don't know. I don't know. Look, these guys are smarter than me. Look, who am I? Who am I? Right? And I thought the same way when I approached this industry, thinking that my competitors knew a lot more than I did, and in reality, I was ahead of them. How's that?
Yeah, and in a lot of ways, I think that's the kind of the idea of the imposter syndrome. I've talked to a lot of different people and that have given me their opinion on what like imposter syndrome is, and probably the greatest opinion I felt, or the one that resonated with me, anyways, was that we all have to feel that way. That is part of the growth structure. When you decide to play at that next level, you walk in and you're the new guy, you're the rookie, you are new to the space. And so you feel like maybe you don't belong there, but we feel like that at every single level. It doesn't mean that we're horrible. It's just that we've entered a new level in this game. And the funny thing is, what we forget is that there's so many levels below us that we've already passed, right? We've already moved up from this space, and we feel like an imposter in where we're at, but we kind of discount everything that we've done in the past before, and that makes a huge difference.
Yeah, you're 100% correct that self-doubt is always something that, especially when you're learning something new, and when you're in a leadership role, you consistently have to learn new things in order to scale a company and to move forward. Learning AI, like right now, learning AI or learning something, different sorts of software. There's always self-doubt, and we just have to embrace it and understand that it's part of the journey, like you said.
I'm curious, dude. How many like active users do you have? Because I feel like this is something that could definitely be useful for parents. But unfortunately, they kind of age out of this, right? So you have kids that for whatever reason, I don't know, maybe it's just how life works. They eat all the time and they get bigger, and eventually they don't need a car seat anymore. So you have a revolving group of clients that have to be coming in, which can kind of sometimes be difficult. Customer acquisition is one of the most expensive things in any business. So how does that work for you guys? How does your active user count, and what are you guys doing to maintain or grow that active user count?
We have somewhere from 25, I think, to 26,000 active users, and we have customer acquisition all over the United States. We're doing good on that. Our marketing is phenomenal. We have a great marketing team, and in terms of the lifespan of the consumer, it could range 3 years, 6 years, 7 years, depending. If we're transporting a baby that's 3 months old, that baby, the parents may stop using the car seats when the baby is 8 years old, right? So that's 7 year lifespan, and some parents may not be traveling every year. Some may be traveling every 2 years, or some may be traveling twice a year. So, but if when you solve a problem and parents can literally ditch the car seat when flying with a baby, then uh, they see the value, and we have many repeat users because they see the value of not having to travel with a child car seat.
How are the rates? How do they compare to like a standard Lyft or a standard Uber type drive? I mean, I know that obviously those vary depending on peak hours or what's going on in the day or an event or whatever. I'm sure that Kidmodo also fluctuates as well. But how do they compare with pricing?
Our pricing is getting closer to premium. We offer premium vehicles. We offer fully insured vehicles. Unlike Lyft and Uber, Lyft and Uber X, it's uh, you just never know with Lyft and Uber, correct? And their price point is getting higher, and our price point stays reasonable within black car rates. So we could be twice as expensive as Uber or Lyft.
All right, but it's the peace of mind, and that's kind of the big thing here, right? When you're traveling with children, you can never be too safe. You want to make sure that everything is working in the order that you want it to. You don't want to get stranded in a vehicle. You want to make sure there's coverage in case something happens. So there's that element of you rest assured you're gonna be in good hands when you use the app. And I'm curious to ask you about your background, because I read in the intro that you were hit by a car or by a train when you were 13. Hit by a train, not a car, a train, dude. Like that is a big thing. Tell me about that.
I was going to high school at that time. I'm from New York City, so I was going to high school, taking a train to Aviation High School in Queens, and uh, I don't know. I I was just hit by a train. I don't know. I just can't remember those days. But it was an express train. I remember that, and I was in a coma for about 3 weeks, and I made it. And it's been rough. I survived it, and the train basically can't really see it, but the surgeons just extracted maybe like almost 1/3 of my skull, and it grew back.
Jeez, that is brutal, dude. Like, again, getting hit by a train, it's no joke. And okay, a lot of head damage, so I'd imagine you probably don't remember it, of course, as much. And yeah, you were in a coma for a while. You come out, what kind of, like, you obviously had to recover. You've had obstacles, maybe even some disabilities in your way. Like, what were the things that you had to overcome after that?
Many things. I had to relearn many things, but I got my I didn't lose that much in terms of like understanding. Took a while, but I didn't lose, like, say, like, I didn't forget all math, right, or how to read and write. So that was good. Just head pains, uh, uh, like, what do you call it? Uh, I forget what do you,
Headaches?
yeah,
Migraines?
no, the severe headaches. What do you call those?
Migraines?
Yeah, like those. Yeah.
Do you still have those, like, today? Do you still have to deal with some
No.
of the repercussions of what happened that day?
Oh yeah, I do. I take some medication, but hey, they're working, right?
Yeah, no joke, man, no joke. Yeah, you still got your hands, you still can do stuff, you still got a great personality. And let me ask you, man, like, you stand out compared to a lot of just first glance, you stand out. The hairstyle, the suits.
Mhm.
Is that like just something you've always been that way, or is it part of your whole persona now that social media is kind of a thing? We need to grab attention in any way possible. Have you been like that the whole time, or is it something
Always,
new?
always. This is me in the blood. I've always been like this, always. You know, you can ask somebody who knew me 15 years ago, 10 years ago. I've always been like this. Don't change, be yourself. That's kind of like my motto.
All right, I like that. I like that. All right, so 6 or 7 years ago, you started this business. You have over 52 cities that you are in, 26,000 different active users. You got a nice lifespan there of about 6 to 7 years per active user, assuming they start off early on. Where do you see this going in the next couple of years? Where do you see your company maybe 5 years from now as we move into all kinds of new technologies? Things like, I mean, I saw Elon Musk has his Optimus Gen 2 robots. He's got Tesla's talking about, driverless vehicles, all kinds of different cool things that are going here in the future. Don't know which ones are actually going to come to fruition, but where do you see the vision of your company in the next couple of years?
That's a very good question. And so right now we're started Moto Nation. And so underneath Moto Nation is the parent company of Kid Moto. We have a new company called Baby Moto, which is to pick up newborn infants at hospitals, which is very exciting because new parents generally do not know how to install a newborn child car seat. That's number one. Number two, it's a very traumatic experience when the wife is having a baby, so it's a traumatic experience for a husband and wife. So we can solve that by picking up the new parents at the hospital with a pre-installed newborn seat, and that just takes a lot of headache away from driving home with a 6-pound newborn. And because you just spent 9 months, and it's like this your most prized possession, and now you're like driving home, and you kind of, if you don't know how to install the car seat, forget about it.
Oh, dude, you're worried the whole way home.
So we have Baby Moto, and we have Bus Moto, which is providing transportation for airline staff and for cruise line staff, because we have a national infrastructure, we can roll out these products on a national level and not just in a, like, say, small segmented city, right? So we're one of the very few companies that has a national infrastructure, and we can get it done effectively and efficiently, and that's really exciting. We're also moving into cargo, last mile cargo, logistics, very important. So last mile for the airlines. Airlines need to deliver a luggage or something like that, or hockey sticks or something. That's a big market for that. That small pieces of luggage.
Dude, you guys got a lot of irons in the fire there. So a lot of cool stuff coming up here in the near future. If people want to maybe use the app themselves or maybe become a driver, how can they do that?
They can go on motonation.us, reach out to us on Twitter. They can go to kidmoto.taxi. And next month, we're actually launching our equity crowdfunding campaign. So the public will have an opportunity to invest in Moto Nation sometime next month.
That's some exciting stuff for sure. I mean, if people wanted to get involved in that way, then yes, absolutely. The website's scrolling across the bottom, ladies and gentlemen, kidmoto.taxi, kidmoto.taxi. Nelson, dude, before we head out, man, any final thoughts or anything you want to say to the audience before we close out for our time here?
Yes. Don't be a hamster on a hamster wheel. If you keep doing what you're doing, you'll keep getting what you're getting, right? And the hamster usually falls flat. So jump off that hamster wheel and get to doing something productive, because if you keep doing what you're doing, you'll keep getting what you're getting.
Dude, well said. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you heard him. Get out there, go make something happen, because at the end of the day, you're responsible for your life and nobody else is responsible for what it is that you're going to do. So get off that hamster wheel and go make things happen. One more time, if you're interested, maybe you got little kids at home, you want to take a Lyft, an Uber to the airport, Need a car seat and you don't want to take one on the plane? Not a problem. Go to kidmoto.taxi, kidmoto.taxi, download the app, get a driver who comes to you ready to go, kid-friendly and kid-safe. Nelson, thank you very much for being on the program today. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace. And we're out.
Thank you.
It's
Cheers.
over. Go home. Is your business in need of marketing? Try starting a podcast. But not just any podcast. Podcast like a pro. We can show you how to take your business from being invisible to becoming a brand people trust. Go to www.businessbros.biz to get started today.